Now, the man who is in Pettis' corner back in Vancouver around 10 days ago, the man who has been by his side from the beginning and will also be by CM Punk's side on Saturday. What a great guest to transition into now. We're talking to the head man over at Roufus Sport, the namesake. Duke Roufus himself joins us on the phone. Duke, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm awesome. Just had a great weekend with my family. Just an incredible weekend here in Milwaukee. The weather's awesome. Great summer, great life, great team. Couldn't be any happier right now.
Wow. I could feel the positivity coming right out of you. I love that.
Oh, thanks, man. And same with you. It seems like you got a lot of pep in your step on a Tuesday today.
I do. Well, I got to tell you, Duke, I am very excited. I am all in on this. The CM Punk story to me is nothing to be upset about, to get my feathers ruffled about. I mean, I am so excited to get to Cleveland and see how this whole thing unfolds. And you have been there literally from day one as far as his MMA journey is concerned. And I'm curious, on this Tuesday, how do you feel? Like, do you feel a little different than your typical Pettis fight or a Ben Askren fight? Like, this is a guy who has no experience and he's about to do it. He's about to go in there after 19 months. Can you share the emotions and thoughts going through your mind right now as you're about to embark on this journey?
Well, 6 degrees of separation. The first time I met Punk was with you. We watched the Ben Askren-Amasu fight in Chicago together. Right. You, myself, Jail.
That's right.
And it's crazy that that's why I was excited to come on and share that with everyone. Just I forgot the connectivity of everything. But along with that, you know what? I'm grateful, one, for the friendship of Punk, two, for this whole experience, because I think he is he's bigger than the sport. He's making a statement about life. If you have the ability, you got a shot, you want to do something, this is a real life Rocky movie. But getting back to the serious question at hand, this is new territory for me.
Yeah.
But you know what? I love it. I love new opportunities to grow. I love new opportunities to get better. And this is one of those situations. Normally, you go to a fight with these experienced vets, and it's a different situation. They're so how should I say seasoned. Going with a guy like Anthony Pettis, he's so seasoned. It's a pretty easy trip. This one, it's going to be tough because I'm going to be basically walking Punk through the whole situation. But I enjoy that. It's like my parents have 7 kids. We have 1 deceased, so 8 children. But there was a 12-year gap between myself and my youngest brother. And that's how I feel almost as a fight coach. I got these grown children, and now I got this new one that I got to bring into the realm of, so I'm starting to relate like my father almost. And, I got this new guy that's completely raw. There's no experiences to go on, but I love it. I mean, every day he gets stronger and he's getting better. That's the fun part about this. When someone is so raw, the improvement comes so quick. And when someone gets really good, it gets harder to gain ground. And that's the most fun of this situation, honestly. You get to get a different experience, and that to me, at the end of the day, is the experience, the journey. That's what motivates me to keep doing this all the time. He's a tough dude. He's a little crazy in a good way, because I think you got to be a little crazy to be a WWE wrestler, wrestle 300 days a year, travel, the schedule they do. He's a very resilient person, and I'm very excited to see what he can do in the octagon. He's shown great promise in the practice. Guys like Anthony, Tyron, they've really, taken him under. And I think he's really good for the sport. The message he's put out there, a lot of the guys, they're always negative about money and they're attacking Punk, but they don't realize that high tide raises all ships. Ronda Rousey was great for the sport. That huge event they had in Melbourne, Australia, bringing, our whole goal is to bring new fans. We've got wonderful loyal fans, but if we want to help the fighters make even more money, we need more marquee names. And you know what? The WWE fans are going to tune in and hopefully fall in love with the rest of the other UFC fighters in the UFC. And that's my whole goal of doing this for the greater good of the sport.
Do you recall what you were thinking back in January of 2015, your very first training session with Punk, where you kind of got to figure out where he was at? Do you recall what you were thinking? And did you ever have a moment when you were like, wow, this is tougher than I thought. He's not as advanced as I thought. We're going to need a lot of work. Like, what were you thinking that first day? Do you remember?
We can do this.
Huh.
The whole time I've just always stayed very positive. I forgot who said the quote, but it's no one said it would be easy, but I did say it would be worth it, and that's the mindset I had coming into this whole process. And you just got to look at it as, if you want to be part of a big dream, you got to be part of the bigger struggle. And that was my attitude coming through the whole thing. Sometimes I get blessed. I get a guy like Tyron Woodley, who later in his career, he comes to my camp the last 3 fights, but he's so easy to tweak because he's done all that work. He's, it's easy to give him a couple little pointers and it changes his game, and he does awesome things. And, but if you really want to be there, for the success, my motto is, we grind together, we shine together. And that's just the attitude I have. I tried to adopt Punk's mentality. I'm doing this. This is what I want to do. So I tried to have the same atmosphere going into this fight. And I actually did the same thing coming into Anthony's last fight. As a coach, I try and get similar mindset to the athlete. I've only told a couple people this. Anthony, one of my really good friends in Canada, and one of my business partners. If Anthony Pettis would have lost his last fight, I was going to stop coaching.
What?
He had his back against the wall. I had my back against the wall. And, I'm serious. That's how much this kid's life and career means to me. But that's how invested I am as a coach. And that's the type of mentality I have coming to this Punk fight. Is not, it's not a negative attitude or, skeptic about it. I was all on board. We're going to make this guy's dream a reality. I'm an overachiever myself as an athlete. So I can't help it. I'm sentimental for Rocky movies, and I like rewriting the script and making our own Rocky type finishes. So I'm excited to be going to the octagon with him this week, because to me, he transcends more than sport. It's again, I'm just emotionally connected to his journey because I have a lot of respect for him. He doesn't need to do this. He's had an incredibly successful career as in the WWE, has the financials. He's got a great wife who also is a former champion. But his dedication has inspired me and inspired a lot of people around us. To see people who don't have to do something work harder than people who do have to do this is pretty special in my eyes.
So wait a second, you were prepared to walk away from MMA coaching had Pettis lost to Oliveira in Vancouver?
Yeah. Wow. I take responsibility for winning and losing when you're coaching. I'm the type of guy that I want to be in the trenches with my people. I feel like we had one of the best camps we've had in a long time, and the connectivity, I was inspired by Anthony's hunger as well, too. It was a very crucial part of his career. It was. No one took the losses worse than me, than of course Anthony. I know what his potential is, and I know what he's capable of when he gets his stars aligned. He's a special force, and I just want to see him shine, and he did. And I feel like the next stage of his career is going to be a special one. He's got a special motivation right now.
Did Pettis know about that you were considering that?
No, I didn't want to cloud his vision. I just, I didn't want to cloud his thoughts and mine. I didn't want my hang up to be his hang up, if that makes sense. It's just
wow
where I was at as a coach and professionally. I don't know, maybe it was a psychological trick that just made me extra hungry this camp. I don't know if it was reality or not, but that was the mindset I had coming in. And sometimes that's what it takes to win a fight, is getting your mind right. You don't have to be a god, all year. You only got to be a god on fight night. So, the mind's an incredible thing, and it can either play tricks on you, or you can play tricks on your mind and make it do things special for you. And, that's just working on that tower of the mind and spirit. That's getting back to Punk. That's what he brings to this contest. I think Mickey's a tough fighter. I've watched a lot of film on him. Young, tough kid, very talented team. Like any other UFC fight, there's no easy fights in the UFC. It's going to be a tough fight, but Punk's here to win. He trained to win. Similar to the way Anthony Pettis won that ordeal a few weeks ago. Punk's ready to go wherever it goes and outfight his opponent, and that's what we've been training to do, and he's doing a hell of a job at it right now.
So I recall when this whole thing started, you said you want him for 365 days at least to really, feel confident that he's ready to do this, to step inside the octagon. Now, he's had ups and downs. He's had injuries. He's had to, take a break or two. So it's been longer than that. But do you feel confident? Like, okay, when you started, you were thinking, you had something in your mind that you said, okay, he has to be at a certain point to be ready and for you to feel confident that he was going to go in there and succeed. Do you honestly feel that way on this Tuesday before the fight? You feel like he's done enough, that you've done enough as his coach, that he is finally ready to do this?
Yes, that's why I just had a great weekend. You come in with a peace of mind knowing that you're ready. You know that you put the work in. You put the dedication and the enthusiasm. And I think the turning point was when he finally booked the fight. It's where we saw him grow. I think a lot, and the one thing, that's when I knew he was a real fighter too, because that's when all my fighters turn into someone else. A lot of them train year round very well. They're great guys. They're dedicated. But I see the journey start when the bout agreement's signed. It's that commitment level. There's no turning back. And I saw that in him, and that sparked his performance and getting better. Were there setbacks? Yes. We had one bad day last week that he just didn't have a good day. That happens in training. But you know what? He used it as a springboard, and the bad day had a 360-degree, not 360, 180.
Yeah. To
the extreme, the opposite way. All of a sudden, he turned into someone else, and he used just a little off day, and again, I just see him having some character traits that make people great fighters, and now I'm excited. He's going to go in there and scrap, and that's the thing. I didn't prepare him to be Anthony Pettis, just like I don't prepare Tyron Woodley to try and be Anthony Pettis. I look at someone's skill set, mindset, and that's how we're going to train him. He's not going to be, this guy running off the cage kicking people, but he's going to be hitting people hard. He's going to be wrestling, grappling, ground and pounding. He's going to be a blood and guts, blue collar fighter out there. But you know what? The fans are going to be entertained, and he's going to be fighting to win and fighting to finish.
You mentioned earlier that you've been watching a lot of tape on Mickey Gall, but there isn't all that much out there. Like, you feel like you've been able to see enough on this guy? His one UFC fight was what, like 90 seconds or so? Then he has this, sort of independent show, very, very low level. Like, do you feel like you've been able to see enough on the guy?
No, but hey, it's a horse apiece both ways, I mean, to me, it's when you do, like when I train an amateur athlete, and we really push our coaching staff at our team not to overemphasize on game plans when you fight in the amateurs, because it's kind of like the scene in the Coliseum. We don't know what's going to come through the gates here, right? That's how a newer fight is. You just don't know. I mean, I always joke, Anderson Silva had his first amateur fight. Matt Hughes did. And I remember Anthony Pettis did. He just destroyed this guy, and you never know who you're getting every great star's had their first fight, and I mean, one of my amateur girls in kickboxing had the displeasure of fighting Holly Holm in one of her first national amateur tournaments. 41 seconds later, the towel goes in the ring, and Holly Holm is, the victor, so the unique thing about fighting new fights, there are a lot of question marks, but that's what's going to make this fun. You guys, all the MMA reporters, you have a good idea who to pick in a fight. But I still think it's hard to pick a winner in this fight, too. I mean, even with Mickey's experience, it's not a landslide amount of experience as well.
So when do you get out there?
About 7 tonight. I'm going about 5:15. We're going to do a later session tonight. I go way back with Marcus Marinelli and Stipe's team. His manager is a former business partner and friend of mine. So Cleveland's almost a home fight for me. So we're going to be training at strong style all week. So we're going to do a late session around fight time tonight. And Punk goes way back in Cleveland too. Obviously wrestled there a lot, the indie days and the WWE days. So it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Excited.
It's amazing. I saw him tell you on the Evolution of Punk show that's the building that he walked out on the WWE. Isn't that nuts that he comes back and this is where his debut is? That kind of blows my mind.
You know what? I think someone in the UFC knows a lot about the WWE.
Crazy.
And they're just not saying. No, it's awesome. I mean, I've always said that mixed martial arts is unlike any other sport. I think that mixed martial arts is real wrestling. And my biggest advice to most of these fighters is create your character, your aura. It doesn't have to be fake either. Like Joe Wowzon, I'm a big fan of Joe because just who he is. He reps who he is, and that's the thing. Some of the fighters, they haven't learned yet how to do things to separate themselves from other fighters. That's something I always worked on with Anthony Pettis, the Showtime moniker, and he's lived up to it. And I try and help other people. Even Tyron, we used our filming crew from the Duke Roufus Striking University to do his champ camp this time. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there to create your persona these days, using social media, do more videos, etc. Because we can always talk about the rankings, but the rankings are not really what pushes the sport, unfortunately. That's in real wrestling, the NCAAs, but in prize fighting, it always comes down to what fight the fans want to see the most and pay the most for. And that's my biggest advice to these youngsters. Just keep working that. Man, I'm just grateful to be in this stage of the sport, because I go to these events, I meet more younger fighters, new people, and man, these guys are getting good so fast, and the sport's moving so fast. I got to be on my toes as a coach, constantly getting better myself. It's just fun, and it keeps everything fresh, and there's always a new challenge ahead of us, and it's just, again, an incredible time. The sport's growing exponentially, and I see the UFC and Bellator and all the other shows only getting bigger.
Do you envision a finish? Do you envision the way the fight? Is there some kind of vision that keeps coming up that you see, how you see this fight going down on Saturday?
Knockout or submission.
Early or late?
It's just wherever it's got to happen. It could happen early, but we're ready to go toe-to-toe. I shouldn't say we, because him, we've been game planning, but he's the one who's going to get in there and do the blood and guts, sweat and tears. And, he's been going the long haul or the short term. He's ready. I mean, he's done a good job of putting himself in bad positions and bad places and training. He's really focused himself to do that.
By the way, what happened to your Twitter? Where'd it go?
I'm just not into Twitter. I'm really love. I'm an Instagram guy. I share a lot of technique videos on there, and you know what? As an older dude, I'm I love social media, but I do Facebook and I do Instagram, and that's enough for me.
All right.
You get enough emails, enough text in life. It's like hard to keep up. I feel bad. I can't keep up with my friends and family and even my responsibilities. It's like something's got to go, and that was one of them.
All right.
Yeah, I tried to eliminate, but I do share a lot. I'm a nerd on the Instagram. I do pictures, and I like sharing a lot of. If they're not like techniques I'm teaching, I share. I just like sharing, cool strikes, submissions, etc. So me, it's a lot of fun. I like kind of networking back and forth with fans and practitioners of all the martial arts.
Final thing for you, Duke, and again, thank you so much for the time before you head out to Cleveland. Do you at all feel like what happens on Saturday with Punk will be sort of, as I said to Anthony, like this indictment on you as a coach, because you have been given this opportunity that, brought you some notoriety and more fame, even though you didn't really need it. And he kind of picked you as opposed to vice versa. I mean, so many people were campaigning to have Punk come to the gym. You didn't do that. And, he just shows up, and there's a lot of eyeballs, and there's a lot of naysayers, and there's a lot of doubters, and everyone, it seems like that you're either kind of rooting for him to fail or succeed. Everyone has a take on whether or not he should be there. But at the end of the day, everyone wants to just see how he's going to fight. And you're the head coach. And do you feel that pressure going into this one? Do you feel like, okay, whether he looks good or succeeds or doesn't, it's going to reflect on me positively or negatively?
Oh, obviously. I mean, like I said with Anthony Pettis, I can't have one person not be the other. I feel responsible physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. This is, I help them choose this path, I am very emotionally connected. So if he does not have the performance he wants, I'm going to be part of that process. Definitely going to be that. And, I'm going to have to take responsibility too, and I do. I mean, those are always, I'm a firm together. We win and we lose together. There's not going to be excuses, just adjustments if that's the case.
Wow.
But that you got to. I mean, me as a former fighter, there's nothing worse when people turn their coattails on you and run. It's happened to me personally myself, and it's like losing your parents. When your coaches turn on you or people turn on you. It's one of the hardest sports in the world. I have no regrets being in it. The only thing I'm regretful of is bad behavior by people. It takes a special person to go in there and do what these guys do on the stage that they do it, and not to have respect for people who do that. It really it saddens me because this is a special sport and they're special people. And I'm always there with my guys, when women win, lose, or draw. It's still better than not doing it. You know what I mean? That's at the end of the day, he's still doing something that most of the world population have not dreamed of or can't dream of or do. So, I respect all these people who get in there and do it. And when things don't go right, I'm not going to run and hide. I'm going to stand with them.
Well said, Duke. Good luck this weekend. Can't wait. This is going to be fun. Enjoy this ride. It's again, I use the word grateful a lot. Excuse me, but I am every new experience. This is, and you know what? I'd like to send a big shout out to all those CM Punk fans listening. You guys are amazing. They're starting to support a lot of our other athletes, and the Punk has touched just a group of people in this world, and especially a lot of people from different genres of life. People who are into comics and et cetera. It's just not wrestling fans. People who are in punk rock, and it's cool. It's been a neat journey for me. And actually, one of the cool things I got to meet Lars from the band Rancid at our gym. That was super cool. It's lifelong music fan. I'm always I geek out when I meet musicians. That's my that's my thing that I love, music. So again, just grateful and excited for Saturday. Well, I can't wait for it. I wish you guys the best. Congrats on getting to this point, and of course, good luck on Saturday. Thank you so much, Duke. It was great to catch up again.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful day.
All right, there he is, Duke Roufus, head coach for one CM Punk, who makes his MMA and UFC debut on Saturday night.